Hey, we're back talking about screen time and how to avoid becoming wired and tired. So there is an entire workshop on this at drtrishleigh.com, but I'm going to give you a quick overview in your current short course workshop. So let's do it. Okay, so research findings show that when people, and primarily it's youth right now that we're looking at, but when people overuse internet games in particular, but this can be extended to internet use, and I will go there in just a second. Gray matter, which is the matter in your brain, the material in your brain where processing happens, actually atrophies, which means that it loses strength. It basically shrivels up and dies. We do not want very important material in your brain becoming weaker. And that's what internet video games do for kids with extended use, with too much use. White matter integrity, which is mostly responsible for communication in the brain, also is compromised. Again, we do not want weakened brains that are compromised in communication. Reduced cortical thickness in the frontal lobe. So you already know from this short course workshop that the frontal lobe is very, very, very important, especially for youth, but for all of us. That's where executive function, planning and organization happens, impulse control and judgment, attention, working memory, socialization. Obviously, every area of our brain is important, but the frontal lobe is crucial for most of the thinking skills that we use on a daily basis. So we do not want impaired cognitive function in the frontal lobe, which is proven by research studies, and the cravings and reward system malfunction. So what happens when kids use internet games too much? What happens is their brains are being dumped with dopamine while they are playing the game. Then they go out to live their life in the real world where it's not as actiony, it's not as rewarding, it doesn't have the same element of arousal, and they are not able to function in the world because their brain needs those high levels of stimulation that they get in their video games. And we see this extended to emails, we see it extended to adults on their phones, we see it extended in many, many different areas when it comes to electronic use. So electronics resonate at 60 hertz. And that is what is in the short course. The longer you are in front of a screen, the more impaired your brain function will become. Because if you remember, your brain will attune to that fast, high energy. 60 hertz is very fast, very high energy. If you remember, we want our brains between 10 and 15 hertz to feel calm and focused. So the longer we sit in front of a screen, our brain is becoming jacked up. And that's what Dr. Victoria Dunkley talks about as wired and tired. It's wired because it's in front of this very, very, very fast electrical energy, and then it fatigues it. Now, if you remember, the whole goal for being able to stay calm and focused is to keep your brain's electrical speed here in the middle, not out here in the extremes. The extremes are wired and tired. So that is the exact opposite of what we're trying to create for calm focus. So you really need to learn how to moderate your own electronic use and definitely moderate the use for your children. So now you know, in the short run, it's going to tire and wire your brain, just like I just told you. And in the long run, research studies show that it's going to decrease your functionality overall. Very, very important. So now you know, knowledge is power, right? So now you know what screen time is doing to your brain. It's like back when people found out that cigarette smoking was literally killing them. Most of the people who smoked were able to make the wise decision to stop smoking. So that is what you need to do with your electronics. You need to realize that it's slowly but surely making your brain malfunction. So limit the use, limit daily use. Do not be owned by your phone. So when I'm in the car, I don't ever check my phone. I just drop my kids off at school. I just listen to Sting. That's some good chill music right there. I listen to Sting on the way there and the way back, just chilling in the car. I wasn't checking emails. I wasn't sending texts. I was just chilling. And then when I get back, of course, I'm in front of a screen because I have work to do. But then I will take a break, not in front of a screen. My screens don't own me. Don't let your screen own you. So for my children, it's harder. They're in front of their screens most of the day because they're checking their phones and all that jazz. But I am teaching them to, again, not have their screens own them. So when they get home, they have to take a chill. They're not allowed to bring their phone to the table when we eat meals. We have hangout times when we all just hang out and there's no phones, no electronics. And daily, they're only allowed to use electronics for 1 hour. It gets tougher as they get a little older because the older kids have homework to do with friends. But, the idea is at least they're not on a video game for 5 hours. 1 hour of gaming or electronic use for pleasure, basically. But don't get me wrong, I understand it's loaded, but you have to teach them to moderate it. Do some homework, take a break. Play a little game, take a break. There has to be the breaks. That's the most important piece. On the weekends, this is very difficult, but limited to 3 hours at a time or across the day, actually, not at a time. So for my kids, they're allowed to play for an hour and a half, and then they have to go outside. They have to be IRL. They have to be in real life for double the amount of time that they were on their screen before they can earn the second half of their 3 hours. So what it does is they understand they can chill out, play a little game, be on their videos or whatever, later in the morning when they wake up on a Saturday, and then we go do something real or they go do something real. In the evening, they can take a chill again, and then we usually hang out as a family. So it creates this routine where they know they can use it a little, but they cannot sit on their electronics for 8 hours at a time. And no screens 1 hour before bedtime. So remember, your screens, your phone resonates at 60 hertz, super fast. So remember, sleep is 1 hertz, very slow. So if you want to get your brain down here into the 1 hertz that it needs to get to for sleep, you can't jump in bed with it in front of 60 hertz. So like you've heard me say before, I love to listen to Pachelbel's Canon in D. I find it to be the most relaxing music ever. Sometimes I'll take a bath. A bath totally helps chill the brain and brings the brain down. I put spa music on. We have Alexas in all of our rooms. Yeah, I know it's an electronic, but she plays me some lovely spa music when I take a bubble bath. And so like last night I ran around all day. My brain was so maxed out. Kids were still talking to me at 8:30 about things I had to do for them. I had to gently ask them all to go to their rooms and relax now because I just needed a half hour. And we just watched The Good Place. It's a funny show. It's pretty slow in the way that it develops. My husband doesn't really even like it because of that. But it's pretty slow. And I just watched it for like 20 minutes until my brain kind of chilled out as I sat there. And then I did my bedtime routine. And yes, that's in front of a screen, but it's slow and it doesn't have a ton of action. And it gave me the 20 minutes to just sit down and to just kind of chill and decompress but then I put time between TV, and TV's not as bad for you as your phone or a computer screen, just so you understand that too. And especially if there's not a lot of screen changes and it is a slower type of action or plot, that helps your brain slow down and come down before bedtime. And then I also keep the lights low in the evening. I turn all the lights down so my brain starts falling asleep and that melatonin starts being produced and cortisol comes down and I'm able to get a great night's sleep. Okay, so there's another module, or not a module, sorry. There's another short course. Short course number 2 is Screen Time, Harmful Effects, and What to Do About It. It's everything you need to know about screen times and how it impacts and is worsening anxiety, depression, attention issues, the EMF, electric, magnetic field sensitivities. There's lots and lots of stuff in there. So if you're interested, that's actually a very affordable course. It's the most affordable course. It's only $39. And it's that for a reason, because I want everybody to know what screen time is doing to our brains so we can all make better choices. Okay, in the short run, up next, routines for brain health. So follow me through to the next lesson, and I can't wait to teach you some really awesome routines that will really help you out. I'll see you then.